do you guys have faith in James Gunn? Because we've talked about this.
Yep.
We talked about this in person.
Sure.
None of us have really talked. We've not really talked about this in video though.
Yep.
James Gunn, as everybody fucking knows at this point, if you watch this channel, is co-leading the new DC.
It's him and
Cinematic
some
Universe.
guy.
Him and a producer. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna be more creative. The producer's gonna be more money. Does that make sense?
That's what
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
They're
anyway.
working together. Yeah. And they're friends and stuff.
James Gunn's already confirmed for writing a Superman movie, so if anything, I think that's probably going to be the first film. Ian.
That was what I was going to say.
Sure,
too.
that makes a lot of sense. If they're gonna reboot, which it looks like, which again they have not announced, we're assuming, but it looks like they're gonna reboot. If that's the case, yeah.
I think it's also really funny that a lot of the Snyder fans are now trying to basically cancel James Gunn for the stuff that Marvel canceled him for back in 2018 or whatever.
Yep.
Like, they're trying to use the same dirt, and I'm like, you do know Warner Bros hired him immediately after
Yeah.
Marvel
That
fired
was
him,
fucking
right?
hilarious.
What if they promote him again because of this?
I bet, yeah, like you're right. You know the reason why James Gunn is here, right?
Because of that situation.
It's literally because of that situation.
Yeah.
It's almost like people grow. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, dude, right?
Wild to think
It's
about.
almost like Snyder fans can't let it go.
Dude, Snyder fans were like, yeah, we'll watch Snyderverse. We'll watch the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, first of all, Snyder fans are hello. I am a bot on Twitter.
Yeah, there's that. But
they
also,
really
like,
don't exist.
Snyder fans be like, because they don't exist. Where are you in the theaters? Why didn't you watch the films?
Yeah, wait, what the fuck?
didn't
If you existed so hard, then
You
you
didn't-
would have seen these fucking movies.
I love when they're like, the studio interfered with Snyder's vision. It's like, bro, you watched BVS, right? That was
That was him. That was him.
Snyder's vision.
And say what you want about the fucking theatrical cut or the fucking director's cut.
The good cut.
The quote unquote good
The
cut.
better cut.
It sucks.
That's
They-
the operative word.
They
there.
both fucking.
They're both
suck.
mid.
I like.
So,
them both.
before we get into some territory where we're gonna probably disagree a little bit, I don't know. So I'm just assuming because we're four different people and this is a very kind of new, crazy continent we're going into. I just want to say that we would all agree, hands fucking down, that the DCEU,
is bad.
to be generous, has not lived up to what it could be.
Oh, what?
I just want to point something out. If they are going for a reboot, aren't they making Peacemaker season 2?
Yeah, but that's his project. He likes
So,
that one.
James Gunn announced that before he was hired as the CEO. I think now in the CEO role, he might not subscribe to that.
Ooh, Peacemaker first.
I mean, John Cena will stick around. Apparently, John Cena was the first person that James Gunn told about his new DC position, which is really funny to think about.
They were probably
So-
working on the set at the same time.
Well,
when he
I
got
mean,
called.
Probably.
James Gunn, I want to say some more factual things before we spin off wildly.
James Gunn
because
is a man.
James Gunn is a man.
Yeah.
A,
He is a director.
He is a director.
He has
And
white hair.
C,
He's
he
written-
has glasses. But also D, he has put out a few statements, and by statements I mean tweets, where he's like, hey, we are not going to have every single thing going to be part of the DC universe. So you're going to have like things like Matt Reeves' Batman,
which is safe,
Joker's
which
gonna
I'm very
go
happy
on.
about.
We're all good. Like, not everything's connected, but we're building a universe that's going to be connected across all forms of media and stuff. So that doesn't mean the DCEU is dead. We've just assumed that. Because why would they?
This DCEU may be dead. Though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this DCEU might be dead. It looks like it is.
Hopefully.
Technically, that's not true yet, but
We will find out in about less than a month, like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we'll
his
find
new
out.
slate comes out. Yeah, we are going in really blind for this. The only things we know now, James Gunn is starting this, and he is writing a Superman script.
Yes.
Those are like basically the only things we know. Oh, and I guess Henry Cavill will not be returning.
Henry Cavill's not returning because the Superman script is going to focus on a younger Superman.
Yeah.
Which makes total sense because he's currently almost 40, Henry Cavill?
That's not that old.
He could be
that
James
old.
Bond.
He could be James Bond, but like, they
I'm looking it up.
they haven't done much with him.
Hang on. I'm
Yeah.
looking it up.
But yeah,
I'm looking it up.
39, I believe. I just looked. it up.
39.
Yeah.
He's not that old.
He's not that old, but I'm saying like if you want to start a new universe, you'd probably want to go with a Superman who's like relatively younger than that.
Yeah.
In any case.
My word.
But yeah, so that's that. So guys, do we have any kind of a semblance of faith or confidence in the next version of the DC?
This is a very nuanced topic, so naturally, me, the most nuanced of us, should go first.
That makes sense to
Well.
me.
I'm really glad we only got a couple chuckles out of that. One of them from me. I'm gonna try to be as nuanced as possible.
Go
here.
nuts, kid.
I don't have a ton of faith in it because the higher ups in the company are still doing things that I don't like.
Okay.
And I know he has control, but I know it's not complete. It's not going to be 100%. No owner is going to ever give somebody 100% control over something. He still does have to defer to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That HBO Discovery highest up little board, they're doing a lot of stuff that I'm not really a fan of right now. If it's just about James Gunn, it's also a 50-50 because for me, he lacks a changing style.
Okay.
So hopefully what he does with bringing people in is let them cook.
I would, because I assume this is going to be a big back and forth here, I would assume that James Gunn, who is known for his thing and loves doing his thing and is going to keep doing his thing with Guardians 3, I would assume that he's not the kind of person to be like, well, just make every single movie like I did my movies.
Well,
you know?
all of his movies are like he did his movies. So
because
maybe
he made them.
I mean,
like, that's
but
different.
again,
his.
not all of them lend to that too.
I agree. That's why I'm saying,
So
like, I
I'm
think a
hoping
smart
he lets
man-
people cook.
Yeah, I think
I'm
a
hoping
smart,
he doesn't bring in Peyton Reed and make him do whatever he wants. I'm
Yeah.
hoping he brings in a real director and doesn't force them to do a thing.
No, I agree completely with something like that.
I would love Ben Affleck. He wants to work with Ben Affleck. I would love a Ben Affleck type film.
That was another thing
because
he does want. Ben Affleck.
Ben
is right.
Affleck made The Town, made Argo.
Argo.
Like, he's a fantastic director.
Yep.
So we can have something that, like, a Batman movie directed by Ben Affleck would have came.
Yeah, it would.
Because The Town and Argo, that kind of style for a Batman movie would fucking slap.
Yep.
So something along these lines, as long as he lets people cook, I think everything should be at least okay. As long as, the people who cook don't have bad ideas and make a shitty meal.
Black Adam.
Again, Zack Snyder existed.
Yeah.
He's a good director sometimes.
But I think had James Gunn been running DC and Zack Snyder pitched Man of Steel or whatever the fuck how that happened, I don't think he would have been like, yeah, this is a good idea. I think he would have been real like, okay, well, why does Superman...
I think he would have been like, I'm directing Guardians. Why are you asking me questions?
Well, first of all, yeah. I'm saying, like, if he were...
Shut the fuck up.
Hypothetically, if, like, if something similar to Zack Snyder's Man of Steel were pitched today, I don't think Zack Snyder. I don't think James Gunn would be like up all about it. I think he would be like, no, that doesn't make sense. Why would you start a universe with the most dreary, dour thing of the most iconic Superman of all time? Like, that's not, that doesn't.
But from what I've been reading from James Gunn at twitter.com, it seems like he at least...
That's the Elon website, isn't it?
He knows the importance of certain things, and I'm going directly into Green Lantern content here. He has explicitly said it is very important.
Knew you would.
So that gives me a little more faith than I have had. Because he knows that one of the key members, one of the original members, one of the most important members of the entire Justice League should probably be in the DC universe at all, instead of ignoring it because you're a pussy.
Yeah.
You really put Cyborg in there before you put, I don't know, the not interchangeable guy? Because Cyborg's interchangeable in everything he's in?
Yep.
He's interchangeable as a Titan. He's interchangeable as a Justice League member. No disrespect to Cyborg, but it's true. He gets replaced by Blue Beetle, and sometimes Martian Manhunter replaces his dumbass. He's replaceable.
Yep.
You have a core member. More important than Aquaman, I'll just fucking say it. More important than the Flash, I think they're on about the same level, but I'm just saying.
Ian.
Like, so at least he understands
Ian.
key foundations of things.
This is his time. Mike.
Pick a soapbox.
This is his time to do this.
I'm just saying, it seems like he at least understands and is willing to take a risk. I like risk taking. I'm ready for it. If in like a week and a half and his slate comes out and he is like, here's the first 5 years and there's no Green Lantern thing on there, I am not for it.
All right, so
I'm just saying, I'm not for it. Just start establishing these people. And he is one of the first people you should be establishing. It's been 11 years. Get the fuck over it.
it has. By the time this video goes up, it might be
12.
fucking 12 years.
Yep. Get the fuck over it.
Yeah.
You've made 7 Spider-Men in between this. Like, the Andrew Garfield movies fucking blew and bombed. And they went, let's do it again, like 3 years later.
There was less of a gap between Spider-Man 3 and Homecoming 2 reboots later than there is for Green Lantern now.
Like, come on. Brandon Routh's Superman failed. Shorter time period.
Yeah.
You had Superman, the most iconic guy, fail, and you did it again. Like, just do it again.
Yep.
They really made a show after Daredevil, the fucking movie. You know how hard that is? That movie's dog water.
Yep.
Just do something.
The show's great.
So, Mud and Joquin, how would you like to follow that up?
So I mean, I guess I'll go first, and I'll just say my general opinion on James Gunn. I think from everything that I've seen him do,
I'm canceling him.
sorry, everything I've seen him do, from writing the live-action Scooby-Doo movies, which they're not good.
Hey!
They're really fucking fun, and the writing is the best part of said movies. To the Guardians films. Guardians are probably like my favorite MCU films. Like if we like average them all out by franchise,
both of them are up there for me as well.
they're fucking amazing. And I love the style that James Gunn incorporates in pretty much all of his work. And I really do like the transparency he's been giving people on Twitter. You can more than likely, Ian, you were talking about
Adding Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
You're not gonna get a response from Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
That's because he's too cool for regular.
But if
fucking
you
people.
at James Gunn and go like, yeah, so Green Lantern, James Gunn's gonna be like, yeah,
he'll wink, yeah.
he'll do a wink and a nod, and
Yeah.
I think that's super fucking cool.
Yeah.
I love the idea of like these big higher up people being transparent and like giving us any idea of what's gonna happen, because these are scary times for DC.
Very, yeah.
It's been scary times for DC for a while now, but Jesus Christ, you just released Black Adam.
Yeah, I know. What the fuck?
What were you thinking? Cancel this.
Like, if Black Adam had been a great movie and had made money and all this shit, maybe I'd be like, okay, why are you throwing the baby out with the bathwater here? There's something. But they just made this fucking dog shit movie.
Yeah.
I'm so happy they're changing.
Yeah, exactly.
They just did this. This is like Morbius with Sony. Like, why do I have faith in fucking Sony? They just made Morbius.
Yeah.
And then rehired the writers.
They rehired.
They rehired them.
It's so painful. Anyway, we're talking about DC.
And,
We're talking about DC.
and the idea of James Gunn helming a script for a new Superman project, I have faith. I think outside of like the original, like 69 Superman film, every other live action adaptation of Superman has been flawed in a lot of ways.
Sure.
And I think James Gunn will understand that
You say every other. There's been like 2, right?
78.
78.
78 for
79.
the first.
69. I
He
was
said
like, that's not right.
Well, whatever. You know.
No,
what I
it's
mean.
cool.
But
It's
this
cool.
Matt Reeves Superman.
No.
Not Matt Reeves. Christopher Reeves.
That's a Batman guy.
Christopher Reeves. Christopher Reeves Superman.
Well, I was just gonna say, Joquin, that there's only been, besides Christopher Reeve, there's only been Brandon Routh and Henry Cavill, right? That's it.
Yeah, and they're flawed.
They're flawed, sure, but that's not like Batman where he has like 10 movies in a row. Like they just
That's
have.
fair. That's
you know.
fair. But I have faith in James Gunn not writing Superman as basically Jesus. Superman still has a lot of humanity to him. He grew up on Earth, for God's sakes.
He grew up in Kansas.
He
That's
grew
like
up
the
in
most Earth place.
Exact. That is Earth. You look around, it's only Earth.
It's just dirt.
It's just dirt. I have faith.
Okay.
I know it could be misplaced.
Is it wavering? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how's your faith?
It's like, honestly, it's like an 8.
I
I have a lot of faith.
Mm-hmm.
I heard James Gunn taking over the DCEU. Keep in mind, I gave like the Suicide Squad. I thought that movie was great. I gave that movie like an 8.
Movie sucks.
That movie is also an 8. So I, funny enough,
Reverse
also
8.
would have about as much of excitement of James Gunn as like an 8 out of 10. The only trepidations I have are, like Ian was saying, oh, hey, management could step in. Because, like, you can announce a big plan. Old management of Warner, after a year of that plan and one thing bombs, they'll change their entire thing and cancel everything and redo everything and announce things and don't make them. That was the past 10 years of the DCEU because they're
Now
fucking
new
terrible.
management might just cancel it in the middle.
Yes, because they are concerned about quality control and they realize they have a turd on their hands and nuked it into High Kingdom Come. Yes, that's exactly something I want to happen
That
if they
is
make
what
a
you
bad
believe.
movie. That's what the reports are saying. So that's, if they thought it would be good or profitable or anything at all, they probably would have put it out. They thought Black Adam would make money.
Yeah, they
But
did.
They did. But
So
yeah, it's almost like you can't see the future. But why? If you see a bad risk, why would you go
but
for it?
You're saying in the same breath you can't see the future, but if they don't think it's going to make money, they don't put it out.
Yes, because if you see something that is a larger risk than another, and you can't see the future, but if like there are things that are less of a risk than doing than other things.
You can't have it both ways.
Yes,
man.
you can.
You cannot.
You absolutely can. So if I'm driving at 60, 70, or 1,000 miles an hour, you could say I could die in all three, but there are tiers of how dangerous each one of those speeds are.
Yeah.
They
So-
still put out Black Adam.
Yes, because that was a 70, 60 mile an hour thing and they crashed. But that's still doesn't mean you should never drive 60 miles an hour. Well,
The thing for Black Adam too, they thought they had star power there.
yeah,
They really thought
that's-
Dwayne Johnson was going to propel
Yeah.
any of
I
the
don't think
bad
Warner,
that they had.
I don't think Warner had faith in this movie. I think it was specifically Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
So the reason I get so fired up about this topic is that Warner Brothers, for the past 10 years, when they make a shitty movie, they pull a Sony and go, let's put it in theaters. Sony put it out in theaters twice. And they're just like, okay, I don't give a fuck about this. Let's just see if anything happens. You know, and then you get fucking Justice League, Suicide Squad. This new Warner looked at Batgirl and went, no, we're not going to keep tarnishing the DC brand like this. We're going to try a little harder. And like, this is the first fucking time I've ever seen them do that. This is like fucking earth shattering in my mind. So that to me tells me that they have actual, I don't know, competent leadership at all. And we'll have to see that be proved as they make their own DC movies. Maybe after these next 4 movies come out, if the first James Gunn is a stinker, then my whole tune will change, believe you me. But this is a solid indicator that there is something here that might be good. And I just, the fact that they actually care about the DC brand in any way that isn't, I guess it'll be fine, is just, it's huge to me. So
See, for me, I don't know if I see the cost cutting as I care or, oh man, we really need to scrape together pennies. That's where I'm 50-50 on that, because they're doing it with a lot, which is part of the problem I'm having with them.
they did a lot of that for a very long time, but now they're starting to build their DC. Now that they've gave the enema to Warner that it frankly needed, that now they're at the point where they can start building anew. I think that's my point of view. So they cost cut with things that already were made or being made, or TV shows that were airing already, but now they get to do their thing. They get to make what they want to make and what they think would be a good direction for Warner. And that's kind of what it comes down to. Is it going to be a good direction for Warner? I think compared to the past 10 years, no matter how good it is, it'll probably be a fucking godsend to Warner. It's like, Jesus Christ. But I'm very excited about that aspect of it. I want to see what they do in that regard, and I'm really excited to see what James Gunn has up his sleeve as a creative and not a hands-on director, just someone who's influencing other directors. I like that idea very much.
Fair enough.
Mud, you've been pretty quiet. Do you have...
I've been contemplating the question because I don't know my answer yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably have a nuclear hot take right now.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Let's hear
Yep.
it.
Every single project that I have seen from James Gunn, I have liked less than the previous project. Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite film in the Marvel Cinematic
I was going to say, I
Universe.
thought you said Guardians was worse than Scooby-Doo's.
No, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about when he became a real person.
Okay, got it.
You know,
Bro,
He's
I
not real.
would have
dude.
had to hit you back
No.
so hard on that.
Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, okay.
I like Guardians 2, but I think it's inferior to Guardians 1.
Mm-hmm.
I saw most of Brightburn, and I was not impressed.
That's a producer thing, but okay, I'll give that to you.
It was still heavily
He still had a
like,
pretty decent creative control.
this is
over
his. The Suicide Squad, I think it's mid.
Okay.
I don't think it's a great film at all. I think it's very messy. I think the script is all over the place. I haven't seen the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, and I have not seen Peacemaker the show, and I do not intend to see the latter. I have no interest in watching a Peacemaker TV show.
Sure.
Damn,
Especially
bro.
now that the DCEU is ending. I
Yeah.
don't have anything. I have no reason to watch
Yeah, it
this,
nullifies it completely.
you know.
But
So every project I've seen from him, I have diminishing returns, and I like a little less, and I like a little less. And I know he's not going to be in charge of everything. Like Ian was saying, hopefully he'll let other people just
gotta
take
let him cook.
projects. Because that's what, to compare, that's what Kevin Feige does to an extent. You know, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, he just gave Ryan Coogler a blank fucking check and was like, here you go.
yep.
Here
you
you
know?
go. You're Ryan Coogler. You make good films.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to make a good film.
Exactly. That is the kind of mentality you need at this level of like, you need to be able to trust your creatives to play ball with what you want to do, but also give them just room to play. Like I imagine, I don't know for certain, but I imagine Feige probably gave Coogler like a list of like I don't know, 6 things and was like, hey, just make sure that's in the movie to like set up later stuff.
Yeah.
Rest of it, don't care. How you get in there, don't care. Just, And I think Gunn knows this because Gunn was probably one of Feige's trusted directors. He was definitely in the inner sanctum. I guarantee you for Guardians 2, blank check. Just make sure X, Y, and Z happens.
In fact, you might remember this, actually, but he was kind of groomed to be the cosmic Kevin Feige of the Marvel Cinematic
Yeah, that was
Universe.
the plan. They were like, we're going to give Gunn, like, creative control, and then, Disney fired him, and Feige was like, why did you just do that?
How
We're
dare
gonna
you?
give Gunn space control.
Yeah, Kevin Feige found out in the news cycle that happened.
Yeah, I remember.
What the fuck?
So
I remember
insane.
hearing that. So I think Gunn has learned a lot from Feige on how to run this shit. But I also think, as Ian has pointed out, I'd be very concerned about management, no matter what, because the direction and the decisions that the current management of Warner Brothers has made has me extremely worried. I don't see anything coming out of the decisions they're making that make me go, great job. They make me go, oh, Jesus Christ. They took 2 of the flagship shows of HBO Max off HBO Max. Like, that alone, I'm like, why the fuck? All right, whatever.
Well, paying residuals is expensive.
You're right. So that has me worried, especially because when you think about it, Marvel was technically its own thing until right before Avengers came out.
Yep.
Then Disney bought it.
Yep.
And at that point, Avengers was already made. And then it came out, and it was the 3rd highest grossing film of all time after it debuted. At that point, Feige had a lot of swinging power, if you will, to like negotiate with Disney and be like, I know you own us, but let us do our own thing.
Yep.
Like he had clout, essentially. He had something that could back up his modus operandi.
Right. And not for nothing, but when Disney bought Marvel, they didn't have any like grand overhaul plans. They just bought it because like, oh, that shit's on the uprise. Let's capitalize on
Let's
that.
just, we'll help
Yeah.
you. It was a symbiotic thing. They
Yeah.
were like, we'll give you money. You just keep doing what you're doing.
It's almost the opposite from when they bought Star Wars. They needed to redo Star Wars again because they had nothing.
Let's delete the EU and then just make the movies carbon copies of the EU.
$1 billion, baby. Let's go. And they paid off, so whatever.
So
No, yeah, they made money.
Star Wars.
They made money.
Sorry, that was me imitating a baby.
nah, it's because Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, did you know Kathleen Kennedy is also the producer on The Mandalorian?
Yes.
Oh my
she's
God, it's
credited
almost-
with the good and bad.
Oh my God. Anyways, point is, technically speaking, and I can see a cynical ass boss man saying this, technically speaking, the Suicide Squad did not make that much money. I know there's a lot of factors there that we could discuss, such as it coming out on HBO Max the same day that it premiered in theaters, which is why people like me did not see it in theaters.
Right.
But the point is, there are still things that the studio could like levy against him. As well, I'm worried about the timetable. Like, how fast of a turnaround is this going to be? Is it going to be a complete franchise reboot? Are we just not going to see anyone? Or is it going to be like a weird continuation? I think he needs time to figure this out because these are complicated questions. Because the idea of the cinematic universe is still relatively in its infancy compared to most of film. And at this point, what are we, 14 years post Iron Man?
Yep.
Marvel
Holy
is
Christ.
still the only successful one.
Yep.
There was a brief moment, I remember in like 2021, there was a brief moment when the Suicide Squad came out where everyone was like, is DC about to eclipse Marvel and actually like get their shit together?
No.
And then they immediately fell apart.
Yeah. No.
It was like, oh, wait, sorry, that was just one good film that opened up against Eternals. Never mind. You know?
Yeah.
It,
Absolutely.
there is still only one successful franchise on that scale.
On that scale, yeah.
You can talk about films that always just get a sequel every now and again. That's different.
I was going to say, you said successful cinematic universe. For what it is, Conjuring is successful, but not the same level of success that Marvel is, because it's different genres. So
Different
it's
genres.
audience and stuff.
And different ideas, too. You know?
I mean, I'm gonna interject with The Conjuring isn't like this cultural phenomenon.
It's not.
By
No,
the
that's
way.
what I'm saying. Like, it's successful.
my kid's not sad. The nun is dead.
If
Like,
you spend $10 on each thing and they all make 50, then that's a successful
I'll
cinematic
also
universe.
say, like, there's also the fact that, like, I don't think you really need to watch the Conjuring universe in order to
No,
understand it.
not at all.
You
nope.
know?
Nope.
Like the level of detail, the level of
Yeah.
story in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is unparalleled at this point.
Yeah.
And how do you take something like this? It is the DCEU is a car that has been totaled more than once,
Right.
but you're still driving it.
Right. Okay, so people argue for the continuation of the DCEU despite James Gunn. First of all, you're stupid.
Okay, keep it.
It makes no sense.
The only
Hold on.
people are not arguing for the continuation of the DCEU. People are arguing for the continuation of Snyder.
Sure, regardless,
That
let's
is
and
the only thing they are.
And I have talked about this before. What did we get with Snyder? All right, let me actually break this down. We got the 4-hour Snyder Cut, which is pretty fucking good. Don't get me wrong,
Yep,
right?
yep, yep.
It's excellent.
Right. Before that, we had Batman versus Superman.
I like that one.
I don't care. That's not a good film. And the
not.
critics agree it's not a good film. And then you have Man of Steel. Joe Quinn, shut up. It's not a good film.
That one's a bad.
Look
I don't
at the critical
it's
consensus. They're both negative. That's what you got with Snyder in control.
Yes,
That is
absolutely.
what you got. There was a point in the DCEU where the best film in it was made by Patty Jenkins. That's not a knock against Patty Jenkins. She's a good director. But my point, shut up. My point is, all of you were like, oh, get Snyder back, get Snyder back. Bro, he's 1 for 3.
Yeah.
he really
That's
is.
you bench that batter.
Patty Jenkins is also 1 for 2 to be fair.
You bench that's still 50 compared to 33.
Hey, there's a reason why Wonder Woman 3 isn't happening, Ian.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
That's
because
semantics.
they told her to change the script and she went, no.
I personally think that was just Patty being like, I don't really want to work with this anymore.
I honestly, would you analogized it to a car, right? And you're like, oh, this car is fucking chaos running off a cliff. But Mud, the hubcap is nice. We have Henry Cavill in our universe. But
you don't
So save the whole universe. Like, no, just because things are good, even the odd film is good because a broken clock is right twice a day with Shazam, even though that shit happens to be good sometimes, your universe blows. It's satisfied close to nobody.
Can I just say, if we really compare the MCU to the DCEU, let's take the best. We got Aquaman, we got Shazam, and I'll say Wonder Woman. Let's say those are the 3 best.
I think
right?
Okay,
the
I
Snyder
agree with
Cut's
that,
better than
yeah.
Wonder
Let's
Woman.
compare all 3 of those films to just the most recent MCU film, Wakanda Forever.
All 3 are less good than that one.
All 3 are less good.
Well, hold on.
I mean, okay, one before that's Love and Thunder, and they're all better than that. But that's not my point. My point is,
Maybe.
yeah. No, I agree.
Maybe.
They're all better than Love and Thunder.
I like Wonder Woman better than Love and Thunder. but
my
that's,
point
yeah.
is, okay, let's go 1 year back. Shang-Chi
Oh my god.
doesn't even compare.
Doesn't
right?
compare, man.
Endgame doesn't even compare. Every year, even when they put out some shit, every year the MCU has at least one film that blows DCEU's best out of the water.
Easily, if not multiple.
Handedly.
Because I'm pretty sure Shang-Chi was the same year as
Years
No
ago.
Way Home.
Yep.
And those films fucking slap.
No, it's just
It's
they're
a lot.
worse. They're worse.
a lot.
Let's compare Black Adam to fucking Eternals, Iron Man 3, Thor 2.
Whoa!
everyone- It's my least favorite, joke. When you can't change that.
Whoa. All right, but you're taking just Black Adam. All right, bottom 3: Black Adam, Suicide Squad, Justice League. Versus
They're-
like Ant-Man 2, which is better. Black Widow is even better. Like Eternals is I haven't seen it.
Their worst is worse, but their best is not better.
No, God, no.
Their best is even better than Half the Men.
And I'll say this: compare this to the unofficial third horse in that race that no longer exists. X-Men, their worst, definitely worse than the MCU.
But
right?
their best.
Their best is Logan, which is one of the best superhero films of all time.
The worst X-Men movies are down there with the worst DCU movies. Though.
Exactly, like the
they're
Last
bad.
Stand,
Dark Phoenix,
Origins.
New Mutants, bro.
Fuck off. New Mutants is good, and I will
Shit.
die on that hill.
So I'm just rationalizing in my head. Mud, I know you would disagree, but my least favorite MCU is Eternals. I'm putting the Eternals in the DCEU rankings. It's in the middle.
Yeah,
I think it's better than
I
half
mean,
and worse than half.
somehow
It's below Man of Steel, right?
That's the worst MCU in my mind, and it is literally better than half of the DCU.
So my point
Bro.
is, on your best day, you can swing at the good but not the great of the MCU. Something needs to change.
And on your best day, you might be better than the worst Marvel movie.
On the best day, I'm thinking about it right now. Shazam, if Shazam was in the MCU, it would be at the At best, it would be in the bottom half of my top 10, probably number 10.
Yeah. It might. It's in the upper half of the MCU because
It's
there's
easily
so
in
many.
the upper half.
Yeah.
But like, it's not
And
Homecoming. It's not. It's not No Way Home. It's not Homecoming. It's not Wakanda Forever. It's not the original Iron Man. Like,
Right. No, I would say Shazam probably is the best stay at the office for the DCU. Maybe ever, which is weird.
They were patting their backs
their
up.
peak film. And we've talked about this. Didn't make that much money.
It didn't.
Like, it was basically a low budget thing that they just approved because they weren't sure that they had Superman anymore.
And yeah, and back to the whole, because we're talking about James Gunn kind of, but like
So,
back to the whole like.
Can I say
reason-
something? There's 16 MCU films better than the best DC film.
But
So
we're talking
I got
about
one more thing I want to finish up with.
Sure.
So what I'm trying to say with all of this is Kevin Feige years ago said he had a rough idea of where they want to be in 2028,
Yeah, that was
right?
Yep.
I'm worried that James Gunn has a deadline for when he needs to present a 5-year plan that is sooner than it should be, because this is a complicated thing that requires a lot of moving parts. And I don't think, like he said, when they were like, release your plans, I've been here for 3 weeks.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Like, he's probably still parsing through like this various
Said he's
stages
gonna
of
do
production.
it.
I'm not done. Various stages of production that all the other shit's in. Like, remember the Zatanna film? I remember the Zatanna film. Is that still happening? Not Greta Gerwig, Emerald, whatever her name is from
Yes.
Promising Woman's
I
supposed
know
to be writing that.
who you're talking about, yep.
Has she worked on it? Like, these are questions that he needs to answer before he can go ahead and just be like, all right, fuck all this. Here's my 5-year plan.
Considering he's canceling things that are more confirmed in development, I'm pretty sure everything that was kind of maybe in development is just gone.
I know, but like, my point is, like, you got to take stock of what you have before you come up with something new.
Yep.
And like, I think that's my main worry is like what Ian was saying was like management. I'm like, what if like they're like, we need a new plan and the plan by the end of the year. I'm like, that's tight turnaround time.
He's literally said like the first week of January they're revealing a plan.
Yeah.
That is insanely tight turnaround time.
See, but here's the thing. If you don't have Kevin Feige, because you ain't getting Kevin Feige, James Gunn's kind of your guy.
Oh no, I'm not saying like, oh, you need Kevin Feige to do this. James Gunn definitely probably learned a lot from Kevin Feige. But there is a level where I'm like, I'd probably say that's tight turnaround time for Kevin Feige too.
But for 5 years, because they're not doing Marvel Now content where it's 10 things a year, which is
Which they need to
diluting it.
stop.
So if it's 5 years, that's at the most 10 movies, if not a little less.
Probably
that's
going to be
not
less. I
that
can't
bad.
see them
I
doing
think
2 a year.
7 or 8.
That's not that bad to kind of imagine.
Imagine if
Well,
DC
here's
got
the thing.
Peyton Reed. to
No.
be the-
But you got to
gosh.
understand. I think it's more than just saying we're going to make this movie. You gotta have a rough idea of who's going to be in it and who's going to write it. Like,
Sure.
you can't just say, because that's what DC does, and that's what pisses you off is they just say we're making a movie, and then they
Cyborg
don't.
Cyborg and Green Lantern came out in 2022, guys.
For the 5-year plan, it's not just saying what the film is. It's
No, yeah, right.
at least to the shareholders probably. It's like, here's the short list of actors we're looking at.
Yep.
Like,
It's working them out
yeah,
logistically.
and that's a lot of stuff. And
Sure.
I'm just saying, how long has he been in charge for? When was Gunn announced?
I think mid this
2.5
year.
months.
He's probably presenting it relatively soon now.
Now
He's probably already
It's probably
presented it.
he's probably in a meeting immediately.
Probably
Yeah.
right as we record this.
Like, at the latest, he's probably already talking to them, if not already. Which means, at most, he probably had about 2 months to put something together. And I'm sorry, that's not a lot of time for something this
It
big
really
and complicated.
He could have been told that he was going to be the guy before it was public and started working on
Probably.
something.
that's probably the
But-
case. Yeah.
We don't know.
I kind of want.
There's only so much you can do before you're in charge.
I kind of want to say a couple things though. I want to say that overall, the superhero cinematic side of things has been falling apart hard. No matter Marvel
wrong.
or DC, you want to look at it.
Marvel had a rough year.
Disney Plus had like it kind of tarnished the brand a lot.
No, we
Like,
talked
what-
about this.
Yeah, you can say what you want about like WandaVision being good. Like I think it's okay.
It literally peaked with the first show.
It literally peaked with the first show. All the other shows have had really mixed critical reception, and the new stuff that is coming out doesn't really seem that interesting. She-Hulk basically just finished, and that got lambasted all over Twitter.
Yeah, that's just terrible.
Critics like are kind of okay on it, but like
I think I
You
read.
can't keep releasing shit like that.
No, I think I even read that Marvel said that like they're gonna going forward slow down their content.
They have to.
What
They
a
need
coincidence
to.
that announcement happened like literal weeks when Bob Iger came back in as Disney CEO.
Very interesting.
Shocker. But
They
oh well.
replaced Bob Chapek.
Bob
Chapek.
Paycheck. Yeah. No, Bob Chapek is his name.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He sucked.
He
he
sucked.
did suck, but
Animation isn't real media.
He,
All right, Bob.
he came in as CEO roughly around the time of Phase 4 and exited right about now when they announced they're going to slow down. What a coincidence that Phase 4 feels so overloaded.
I'll also say I worked down in Disney World while he was CEO.
No one liked
Do you
him.
know how many fucking complaints we got that like literally everything cost like $30 fucking dollars? It not even joking. That was like largely him. Like he was just like, let's nickel and dime. And the fucking merchandise I'm sorry, side tangent rant because I was just exposed to it for so long. The merchandise that was being sold at Disney World during that time sucked ass. It was so bland and so boring. Like I couldn't even find a fucking shirt with a character on it. It just said Disney World. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Well, Bob Chapek came from running the theme park world.
Yeah, and he sucked at
He
it.
sucked at it too. People hated him then, and then he
Yeah,
got
no,
upgraded.
people hated him then and people hate him now.
Yeah, now he's
I
out.
just sorry, end rant.
End rant, yeah.
Because like I had a lot of guests complain to me about it. I'm like, whatever. And then I went to like Magic Kingdom on my day off and I was like, what the fuck is this?
I had a lot of guests complain, and I complained to myself.
The other thing I'll say is completely fucking scorch earth of what you have. And it should not be that hard to make a decent. It should not be that hard to make a decent DC plan. You're smart enough to know, hey, Superman, because that's like that should Superman and Batman should be your two pillars.
Your pillars,
in a
of course.
cinematic universe.
Pillars.
It's not that hard, and then literally all you have to do is get all like the other members of the league. Fucking get Wonder Woman in there, get a Flash in there.
You're saying all you have to. That's way easier said than done,
I'm-
man.
Obviously.
I'm
but
sure it is, but literally, if you're doing a preliminary draft of what you're showing to investors, that's all you have to show them. Hey, Superman, Batman, fucking Green Lantern.
Here's a list of 5 people. Here's who we want to direct. Here's the storylines from the comics that we want to do.
this is the time scale in which we're going to start fielding the casting people, whatever.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people are getting scared of like maybe thinking it's going to be like this big 20-year plan. No, you're not going to get that. You're not getting that right now. That's not even what James Gunn has basically been saying.
Especially considering the fact that he's probably not going to release one single movie of his because or until all 4 of these next DCEU films just die out. He's going to that's after that era is when you would start releasing the young new Superman movie that written by James Gunn. That's when you wouldn't put that out and then put out Blue Beetle.
Yeah,
that would make any sense.
Not only that,
I mean, you wouldn't be able to. Blue Beetle's coming out in August.
Yeah, that's true.
not only
movie's
that.
done. How?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, if his Superman movie was done, I got a lot of questions.
The CGI on that would look terrible.
It's literally
That should be looking like the 9-hour cut of Avatar 3.
no, but like seriously. Fucking hell. I want a Scorch Earth, and if you want to like carry over like Andy Sandberg.
Andy Sandberg.
Yeah, if you want, get him in there
Are you
somehow.
talking about Andy Muschietti? The
From
guy who
Flash?
directed Flash?
No.
David F. Sandberg.
David
the
F.
director of
Sandberg. Shazam. If you want to get
fucking
if you want to
slammed them together.
if you want to get him in there, or if you want to
he's a good director.
If you want to get Ben Affleck in there, because like you want to get like some parts of the DCEU, hey, that actually kind of worked. That's fine.
To
Everything else,
to direct things that are not Shazam and Ben Affleck's Batman. Because,
That's fine.
Yeah, because you don't want to associate with the thing
Depending
you're
on how
doing.
Fury of the Gods goes, I would honestly say Sandberg would probably be a good pick for Justice League.
Sure. Yeah.
yeah.
If he can handle, multiple heroes in a story and balance them well,
Yeah.
I'd be willing to gamble it.
Yeah. Or at the
know?
very least, James Gunn is the kind of mind where he doesn't have to gamble it. He's going to be like, okay,
Oh, yeah,
this guy
he
makes
could probably
sense.
handle it too. I'm just saying, like, if you don't want to do it, I think Sandberg would be
Sure.
an amazing
And
pick.
the
Joss
reality
Whedon
is,
to do it.
there's 100.
Oh.
There's a list of like 50 or 100 good directors. You just have to find them. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I would say absolutely. This is definitely something that he can do. I don't think 3 months is a super short amount of time.
It's really more like 2 months.
2.5. Either way, I would say that's still
Again,
shitloads of time.
right now, you're basically just writing stuff on paper. You're writing a simple plan on paper.
No, they've been writing a simple plan on paper. I think they've like spent the past like.
I mean, I guess we'll see.
Well, we'll see.
We're doing like 18 more Suicide Squads.
And I understand that like, you know, boo! People say that they want the DCU to continue. They really don't, but some people do. I just think that's because they like 2 or 3 things in it. But that's not warrant to save the whole thing.
Listen, man, I like Blue Beetle. I'm jazzed that he's getting a film. That doesn't mean I want this franchise to continue.
No.
Especially because, here's one for you. What is the fucking plot of the DCEU right now?
Nothing.
It hasn't
Sky
had a
beam?
plot. It hasn't had a plot.
Like people
Like,
knock
just period. Just full stop. It hasn't had a plot.
people knock Phase 4 for being disconnected. At the very least, there's a bare bones thing there with the multiverse and the rings
There's a
overlapping.
rough thematic
Like,
idea.
Miss
about
Marvel
passing
has the
torches.
rings that were in Shang-Chi, and they look like they're in the trailer for Ant-Man, and it's all about the multiverse
Did you
tied
know
together
that
and
Superman's
Kang.
Jesus?
Like there are things in Phase 4 that you can say are building and are going to overlap in ways that'll get clearer and clearer, but that's the main knock. The DCU actually is disconnected to the point where they all feel like they're in completely different genres, tones.
Aquaman doesn't work continuity-wise with either cut of Justice League.
Neither. They both have issues. You're absolutely
Both
right.
have problems. Like that's the level of bad.
That's the level of bad we're at right now. Man, it's just so tough to think about and rationalize that the DCU quote should continue because it not quote should not.
If this is your favorite cinematic universe, if you
Change.
prefer the DCU over the
Get help.
MCU,
No, listen.
you actually like
You know what it is?
you need to relax.
I think-
as a human being, you need to just calm down and let go of the fact that your favorite childhood superheroes aren't somebody else's favorite childhood superheroes.
Right.
Snyderverse people, for the love of God,
They're not real.
give it up. You're done.
You got the Snyder cut.
You got
won.
the thing.
Congrats.
Don't
Now shut the fuck
Although
up.
don't
I'm sorry what happened to Cyborg's actor because Cyborg was great.
Mm-hmm.
You can be pissed about that. Do not be pissed about the universe not continuing though.
although there's a little bit of a bone you have to throw them because half of the Snyder Cut was sequel baiting 10 other projects that we know
That's
are not
on.
going to happen.
You know what? That's on Snyder, and that's a little bit.
He went back and reshot that ending.
That's
entirely on Snyder.
That is on your. That's on Snyder.
That's on Snyder.
That's on Snyder.
That's tough.
Keep in mind, we could have got Green Lantern, but Warner said no to that.
Snyder knew. He wasn't even allowed to shoot it. He just did. He knew that it was going to go nowhere and get no more, like, you know, promise for anything in his cut.
It was him doing it to like just try to get his fans on his side even more.
Yeah.
Greedy.
Yeah.
Greedy.
I'm very excited. Honestly, people are scared about a DC reboot now. I would have argued since Justice League failed, we needed to reboot. I think that
I
was
would
the
have
point.
argued since Suicide Squad we needed to reboot.
Well, that was only like 3 movies in.
I would have argued. I would have argued it was Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, so
What does Suicide Squad? What does that trilogy of films add to the universe besides nothing?
absolutely nothing. Terrible.
Amanda Waller.
Especially because Harley
She's in
Quinn-
Black Adam. What does Black Adam add? Nothing.
And they all are still in these movies. Jeez. But
She's like the most consistent character.
why? Why isn't Superman? Why is she?
Batman's in Suicide Squad for 2 seconds. Deadshot tries to shoot him, and then
Shit.
his daughter goes,
Oh,
Can we go get food now? I'm fucking starving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I might change my mind to Ian's argument. I think when Suicide Squad came out, you should have rebooted. But no,
Yes.
that's
Man
fine.
of Steel came out. You should have rebooted.
The first one, they're like, nope.
It wasn't even a cinematic universe when Man of
It
Steel
was just
came
a
out.
film.
It was
They
a
should have kept
film.
it that way.
Honestly, I would probably like Man of Steel more if it was self-contained. But oh well, I still don't like
Do you
it.
remember? God, was it this year where people thought they were going to announce Man of Steel 2?
Yeah, my
They
ass.
were!
Yeah, way to strike while the iron is freezing cold, everybody. Nice 10-year delay on that. Yeah, no. So I'm excited for the out of 10 excitement. Joker and I are 8s.
Yeah.
What do you guys think for new DCU
5.
reboot, baby?
It could go either way.
I got to go with 5.
All right.
We're also just going off of news articles.
News articles and James Gunn's direct tweets.
Yeah.
So let me ask everybody a question. I think we're all gonna flagrantly say no to this. Would you rather them not have rebooted and continued the DCU?
If there's a Green Lantern film upcoming, yes, but since there isn't, no.
I don't know.
You don't know, really.
I just don't know.
Would I rather have the current DCEU? Fuck no.
Thank you, Joe Quinn. Fucking correct
Oh
man.
my
I'm saying no, but if if they were like, "Oh, Green Lantern," and then they canceled it, I'd be pissed.
If they were, no matter what, ending with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, then maybe.
Ian,
no,
you would be
I don't
pissed if they
know.
announced a Green Lantern film and canceled it?
Yeah!
You would be
What
pissed?
if they announce a
Why
Green
aren't you pissed now?
Why? What if
they didn't do anything.
What if?
They did nothing.
Shut up. What if they announce a Green Lantern film with the sole intent of canceling it?
Ian, let me
Like,
help
they
you out here.
announce it and they're like, it's not coming out.
Just for tax write-offs.
Ian, the DCU prior to James Gunn forbade Snyder 10 years after the Green Lantern film to put Green Lantern in
They
the
had
They
film.
said they were
plans.
going to do something. They
They
had plans.
Yeah, they
Oh.
had plans.
The plan was
Green
to
Lantern, when you guys remember the slate, and Cyborg was supposed to get a solo film in 2022, and Green Lantern was supposed to get a solo film in 2022.
It was supposed to be the Green Lantern Corps.
Bro, we were supposed to, I should have seen a Green Lantern film already.
You should've.
I'm big mad.
Yep.
I'm big mad.
Are there even any directed DVD Green Lantern?
Oh, yeah.
films?
Plenty.
The animated ones, idiot.
There's a ton of them.
That's
yeah.
what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically Green Lantern?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
there's a couple.
Oh, okay.
There's a few. One just came out.
Yeah, like this year.
Yeah.
Oh.
We should review it on the show.
We should do the DC animated films. I've heard they're
That's
good.
gonna take
Yeah, but
so
they're all
long.
good. Why
No,
would
no,
I
no.
make-
No. There's like there's one subset. It's like 17 films.
Yes.
We talked about this.
Yes, I think it's like 13. It's not even that bad.
Yeah.
But they kind of do their own MCU, but good in the DCU.
Yeah.
It's kind of that.
Anyways, we'll catch you guys once Gunn drops his plan.
Peep
Yeah.
the Light Show.
Peep.
Green
Yeah,
Lantern.
there's gonna be a part 2 to this after the
Banger
announcement.
fucking video.
Dude, there's gonna be a part 2 to this discussion after he announces his thing, and we're gonna revisit this.
Oh
with
God,
more.
no! He announced just Hawkman.
Hawkman, baby!